Hey guys, this is the start of a brand new week. It is the beginning of, the end of August, beginning of September, and we are all probably all way back into school. And so I thought this week I would give you some back to school tips that I think can help you have a great school year with your high schooler, right? And that's what we're all about. So today's tip is this: clean out your pantry, clean out your fridge, clean out your freezer, clean it all out of all the junk, right? I know our kids love the junk, but the junk does not help them concentrate, does not help them focus, does not help them actually get good sleep depending on what they're drinking, right? So instead, fill it with all the healthy stuff you can. This does not have to be the expensive stuff or the organic stuff, although I know some of you are out there with the organics and all that, which is fine. But put a bowl of fresh fruit out on the counter. I tell you, if you cut up a watermelon or take the grapes off the stems and put them in a bowl in your refrigerator, they will get eaten. It's the weirdest thing. A watermelon sitting out or grapes on the vine somehow don't get eaten. I don't get it. It's like they don't want to do their own thing. But anyway, so put out some healthy fruit. Put out, in the afternoon, just some vegetables and some cheeses and some crackers. Those kinds of things can be really great for your kids to eat. And they might actually hang out with you while they're eating. Think through, too, the kinds of dinners. And I know we're all busy. I get it. And so it's not about you changing up how you do things to get things done. But think about the kind of dinners you're having. If you're tend to have to eat out a lot, try and vary the kinds of foods. Like try and have sandwiches that you eat out versus pizza all the time, or chicken nuggets or Chick-fil-A, which I love. But try not to have that all the time. Try to balance that with some healthy food. And in the morning, I know your kids are rolling out of bed and not wanting to stop for breakfast. Hand them some kind of protein-based something, a little snackables thing that has the nuts and the cheese in it, and that's so good. A protein shake, but be careful amount of sugars in some of those and kind of take a look at that. Try to keep them off the Monsters and the Frappuccino sugar stuff and all that, because those sugar highs bring them up and drop them down, probably about the middle of their third class of the day, and then they're wiped out. Right. And if you're sending your kid to school with food, try and put the healthy snacks in there. Try and put the, protein-based sandwiches in there if they're eating that. Just some things that are going to keep their brain going throughout the day. So that is my first back to school tip for the week. And if you need more, please come back here tomorrow. I'll have a new one for you. Hope you have a great day. Bye. Hey guys, welcome back to Back to School Week. This is Tuesday, and the second tip of the week is this: talk with your teen about what they need to be able to do their homework and studying well at home. And it may not even be that they need to be home, but let's talk about that set differently. What does your teen need at home for them to be successful in getting their homework done? Do they need to have a quiet space? Do they need to be able to be in their room uninterrupted? What does that look like for them? And I know many of us as parents, like to be able to see our students when they're getting their homework done to make sure they're getting it done. But as high school parents or parents of high schoolers, we really need to let back on that and let them own the consequences of their choices. So the best we can do is ask them what kind of environment they need from us to be created so that they can get their homework done well. So if it's allowing them to work in their room the way they want, then let's set that up and let them do that. If it's they want to work at the dining room table, then let's let them do that. Whatever it is that they think that they need to be successful. And then along the way, keep checking in. So how's this working for you? Is it working okay? If they answer yes, then we're done, right? No need to probe or anything else. But the idea is to help your teen find a place where they can study on a regular basis or get their homework done, and whatever that might look like. You and I probably want something very different than what teenagers want. So try and let go of the expectation of how you think it should be for them to be successful and allow them to design this space on their own. And again, if they want you to go buy all this stuff, you can say, that might be up to you to buy, but I'll give you some quiet space, or I'll give you a space to be able to use, but you have to set it up on your own. That's okay to do. The idea is just to help your teen know and realize that you take their time seriously and that you respect them as a growing adult to be able to figure out how they best need to get their work done. So that's my back to school tip number 2 for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to leave a comment below. Hey there, welcome back to School Week. This is day 3, Wednesday, and my tip for today is to set up clear expectations, rewards, and consequences with your teen now rather than waiting till something happens, right? So setting up clear expectations with your teen involves you asking them what they want this year to look like. What do they believe would be a successful year for them? You and I might not agree with that, but we can't own their education more than they do. We can't own their sports performance more than they do. We certainly can't own their personal growth more than they do. So ask them, what would be a successful year to them? Is it about the certain GPA, certain grades, whatever that might be? Work with them to create some specific goals, even if your teen is open to that with you. And if not, that's fine. Discuss those expectations, though. If you have an expectation that you have in your family that there are no grades below C's that are going to be acceptable, then be very clear with your teen about that as well. If your expectation is that they join a sports team, they don't get to quit partway through, then be very clear with that expectation with your teen. And by clear, I mean tell them specifically, because they need to understand with clear words what it is that you're expecting. So say, listen, this year, first year in high school, we're not dealing with any C's and we're not dealing with missed homework. So when and if that happens, there's going to be consequences, and outline what those consequences are. Also, give the flip side. When you do have no missing assignments, when you do have no grades lower than a C, here's what's going to get to happen for you. It's important to remember that it needs to be a balance between the negative consequences and the positive rewards, because most students gravitate towards one or the other in terms of motivating factors. If they don't have one and they're working towards that as their motivating factor, they're not really going to have a buy-in. So help them understand the expectations, set clear rewards and consequences. So that's tip number 3 for the week. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any questions about it, please feel free to leave a comment below. Talk to you tomorrow. Hey there, welcome back. Today's Thursday of our back to school week. And today we're talking about the idea of setting up your student for success through planning. Now, I know your kids are giving you an eye roll about using a daily planner or recording anything in their calendar or doing anything. I get it. As a coach and consultant, that's the one thing that I hear from parents all the time is they won't use a planner. I get it. But can I just tell you that every single one of my clients this year is using a planner and going, oh, this makes things easier. And why are they using it? Because I don't really let them not. Now, I'm a little bit different because I'm not their parent, and I get it. But the idea here is we tend as parents to kind of own all of the things they need to get done. We keep checking in on them. Did you remember that you have a test tomorrow? Did you remember you have to get this done? Did you remember? Did you remember? Well, stop. Stop doing that. We have to help our students, our teenagers, own their own schedules. We really do. And if they don't remember, then the consequences of not remembering are on them, not on you as a parent. It is not your job to make sure your teenager remembers to get all of their homework done, to study for the big test, to show up on time. Not your role. It's theirs. And so I suggest and offer to you that you should set the clear expectation, like we talked about earlier this week, with your teen, that you're not going to remind them of stuff, that you're not going to get into their business and tell them or remind them, but that you would support them using a calendar app or opening the calendar app on their phone that you share with them, and that you would happily get a planner if they wanted to write things down. They're probably going to be like, thank goodness my mom is out of my business. My dad is out of my business. And it's okay. Let them figure it out, because they will come to that point where they go, oh, I'm not doing so well on this. And it is okay for you to tell your teen, I get it. How would you like to do things differently? How could you better remember the things you need to remember? And when you get to that place, you can say, well, you know what? Here's how it works for me, and show them how you write things out or how you keep track of things in a calendar, and say, okay, would you like to try something, or what comes next? We want them to do this right away. But the idea is you have to give them time to come to the conclusion that they need it. So my tip for today, stop owning your kid's schedule, let them own it. And hopefully at some point they will get to where they will use a planner or some other kind of structure for themselves to take care of what they need to get done. I hope this has been helpful for you today. If you have any comments or questions, please leave a comment below. Talk to you tomorrow. Hey there, happy Friday. We're here. It's the end of our back to school week. And my tip for today is to remember that your teen is more than just school. You know, we can get so over involved in the fact that our teens are in high school and we got to help them be successful. And this is the launching pad to whatever's next and all kinds of stuff, that we can make our whole relationship with them all about school. That kind of makes for a dull relationship, don't you think? we get so involved and wrapped up in what they're doing and trying to help them be successful that we forget that they're 14, 15, 16, and 17-year-old kids, right? That they just want their parent to be in their corner, that they just want their parent to be their parent, or just to hang out with them and not talk about school or not talk about the future all the time, right? I get it. As parents, we want to make sure they're okay. And yet, if all we focus on is school, we narrow down so much more about them. So my tip this week is to really focus on developing with them other interests, other ways to connect with them besides over school. And it's not going to be easy. They're going to want to shut you out. They're going to be like, seriously, mom, whatever. Or seriously, dad, it's okay. Keep trying. Don't give up. They need to know that you're always there, that you're not going to give up on them, but they also need to know that you're trying to kind of get through to them. Try different things, be silly with them, be goofy with them, play the video game with them, as weird as it is. And I tried it once. I tell you, I got so dizzy, but that's okay. My kids laughed at me and they knew it was funny. And so they get it, that mom can't play, but I can be dizzy and we can talk about it anyway. So it's okay to get involved with what they're involved in. Listen to their music, listen to the things they listen to, talk with them about the things they're paying attention to. Remember that they are more than just a high school student. So I hope this week has been really helpful for you. Next week, we're going to talk about dealing with the COVID protocols and school and how to help your students really be successful, even if they have to be quarantined or their home. So hopefully that'll be a good topic for you. Remember, as always, I love having you in this group. So please leave your comments down below. Any questions you have, please feel free to post them. That's okay. And you can message me privately if you need to. And if you have some other friends who are parents of high schoolers, invite them to join this group too. All right. I hope you have a great weekend and I'll talk to you next week.